Good morning, y'all. I want to come back with another message, and today I want to talk about. I feel like we fear God more than we actually love God, and that can be tricky. And if you ask me, my perspective on that is I don't know if people know that they need to find a balance between that. I was dating this one guy, y'all. He was a real church boy. Like, church every Sunday, did not miss a beat. But when I say we used to be going to clubs, we used to be drinking, like he used to smoke, like he was just, a church boy, but when he wasn't in church, he was not in church. And he come from a real traditional church too. Like his aunt and uncle was the pastor, first lady. Everybody in that freaking church was his family. And you know, I'm not a traditional church girl. You know what I mean when I say that. Like I'm not the I'm just not. So I'm not. But I liked him and he liked me. And he was like, my church family will love you or whatever. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we go to church or whatever. And it's like, it's traditional. Like everybody in that church is his family. Everybody in that church is married, except for him and I. Everybody else was married, and if they wasn't, that mean a spouse had passed. Like people in the, I think we were the youngest people. Everybody else, the next one probably had to be like in a higher 40s and like all the way up to 80. Like somebody had even passed their spouse, like they was in their 80s. Like this was a family church. And I remember I had asked his aunt, like, Shuck, is there any questions that you have or whatever? I was like, yeah, I want to speak about, I want to learn more about how do I navigate in the world, with my virginity and just certain things I want to know that's personal, and more about the Lord or whatever. And she was like, sweetie, everything you need to know is in the Bible. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, girl, I don't even understand half of what y'all talking about in here. But okay, that was the answer that she had for me. Anyway, y'all, this guy ended up getting somebody pregnant, but me and him was still friends. Like we were still friends. And he the I know he wasn't dumb. He knew that God knew, but he was so fearful of telling his fat church family. Like he was so fearful, and I feel like that's not a good thing because I watch him carry that burden on his back, and it's like we gotta be smart enough to know that God see everything. So if God see everything, you can't lie to God. But the fact that he was scared to tell these people that was supposed to be not only his family but his church family, he was scared to tell them. He was scared to tell them. He was scared to tell them. Like me even watching him tell, I was there the day that he told the church, and like he was crying, and it made me feel some type of way. And my man, I'm sitting there thinking like, you don't gotta cry like you don't gotta cry like this is why, and I'm saying to myself, this is why I asked, like, do y'all talk about that type of stuff in here? And her answer to me was everything I needed to know was in the Bible. Well, when you leading somebody, it's it's on you, it's on you. When you got somebody up under you as a teacher, it's on you to talk about certain things. If they telling you, that's like a student in class and they ask you, I don't understand such and such. You don't tell them everything you need to look at is in the text. But what you do, what your job is to break it down to them in a layman's form. And I brought up their story, y'all, so y'all can understand. Like we can be traditional all we want to. I'm not a traditional person. However, times are changing. And if you're supposed to be leading people, then whether you got to do that traditionally, whether you got to go learn about such and such, anyway, anything, you gotta switch it up. But your point, your purpose is to get the point across to the people. It don't matter if you 80 and you got a 13-year-old coming up to ask you a question. You have to figure out some way to break it down in a layman's terms so that child can understand if you are a leader. And y'all, when I say, I promise y'all, after seeing that, I remember laying down or whatever, and I remember laying down, and I went home after that, and I'm like, I can't go back there. And again, it wasn't because it was a bad church or anything like that. It was just because that's not how I think. That's not how I want to view the Lord. I feel like the Lord house, you should be able to come. God already know, but we fear people. These people that's in those positions. Yeah, they disappointed. Okay, cool. Did they give you the tools? Did somebody sit down and have a sex talk with you? Did they? Did somebody tell you the consequences that come with having sex? No, they did not. So when I see people and they do this to kids, even like my parents, they was married when my sisters got pregnant. It's like, did you have a sex talk with your child? No, you did not. So I see all the youth, like we put all these burdens on our back, and because we scared of our parents. When our parents didn't deliver, the teacher didn't teach the student. They did not. And when I say like I seen like him carry the burden, like it was just like it was a tough time for him, and I was there to witness that. You know, it was a tough time for him, but if God know everything, then you know you can't have it from God. So I know he wasn't so fearful. He wasn't scared of God because God already know. He was scared of what the people was gonna think. We be more consumed with satisfying people than we do God. Because if that was the case, he would have never been having sex because he's not married. If that was the case, like I said, he wouldn't have been having sex because he knew he wasn't married. If he was fearful of God. But sometimes we make poor decisions, and so God allowed things to happen. So now we not even worried about God no more. Now we worried about the people. And it's like that. I remember I'm like, God, oh, I can't go back there. And I remember telling God like, oh, you mad about if you think I'm gonna get in trouble, or you plan on punishing me for not going back there, you might have to give me my consequences. Cause baby, I ain't going back there. We have to learn how to be not graceful. And I don't think they took it hard on him. But in the way I was saying it is they kind of did though, because you don't make it easy for people to come and talk to you. Yeah, somebody don't want to disappoint you, but if you are a servant of the Lord, you gotta be somewhat approachable. You gotta make it so people can come and tell you. Yeah, you're gonna be disappointed. It's like, okay, but you're not God. You can be disappointed. You're a human being. You always gonna be disappointed when you're dealing with people. That's what you're for, to teach. So people gonna come to you with their problems and their mishaps. And again, like I seen him carry that weight on his shoulder. I seen him carry that weight on his shoulder. And yeah, he had another one after that and another one after that. Like, but it's just like, yeah, I feel like we are scared of people. We fear people. We fear disappointing people more than we fear disappointing God. And so it's like, yeah, like when it comes to traditional church stuff, it's like, I'm not with it. But that's me. That's me. That's me. And it don't really matter what I'm with. But guess what? Anybody that listen to the words that I'm saying and the things that I sit up here and I talk about, I want to make sure that if you 80 or 8, that you still understand what I'm saying. If I will break it down in the lamest terms, because guess what? That's my mission. My mission is to lead. My mission is for you to get whatever it is that you need. And if I'm delivering to you, you have to be able to understand it. And I don't think older church people understand that. Why y'all think kids go to sleep in church? They don't understand it. You're not feeding them. Wake that child up. Da, da, da. No, put that child in a youth ministry or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't understand what you're saying. They don't understand Timothy's verse. They don't understand that. I barely understand that stuff. So yeah,